Morning, it's Audrey, Stitchy Witch 42. Tuesday morning, October 24th. Take number 2. You know, I never realized how difficult recording a video for FlossTube could be, but apparently for me, it's a challenge. I thought I'd spend a few minutes telling you a little bit about myself. A while back, there was that tag that went around to get to know your needleworker. And one of the questions in there was a word that described you. I'm going to give you a couple of examples of words that describe me. Low tech, old school, and improvisation. The low tech part comes from me not having a clue about my cell phone. Every time I have upgraded my phone, it has taken me weeks to figure out how to use it and how to do things and what it's capable of. And I still have problems. Fortunately, I have a very intelligent husband and a very intelligent son, and both of them don't laugh at me too much, but they help me figure out how to work my cell phone. A while back, I turned off the notification sound on my text messages, and for the life of me, I couldn't figure out how to get it back. I went through settings and I couldn't find it, and then I forgot about it. And a week or so later, I remembered I still had no notification for my text messages. So I tried it again. This time I went to Mark. He looked at my cell phone, and even he couldn't figure out how to turn my notifications back on. A couple of days later, Philip came down, and I said, Philip, I've turned off the notification sound for my text messages. Fix it for me. He took my cell phone, had it for about a minute, handed it back to me, and he goes, Mom, this is what you did. This is how you fix it. It's a good thing I got these guys to take care of me. I'm telling you, I am low tech. So, old school. When I first decided that I wanted to do these videos, again, I asked Philip some questions about it. And one of the things that he told me was to make sure that when I was recording that I had my cell phone horizontal, so you see a full screen, rather than holding it like you would use to use the phone and only end up with a narrow picture. What's a good thing he told me that, because I would have done it vertically and would have ended up with the narrow picture. So, okay, now I know that I have to have my phone horizontal so that I get a full screen picture. How the heck am I going to balance my phone sideways? Well, my husband Mark, he is an audiophile. He has an album collection of over 2,600 vinyl LPs, and he has cassette tapes and CDs and 8-track reels. And from that collection, I took a tool. Old school. How many of you know what this is? It's a cassette cover. It's a cassette cover. So if you take this cassette cover and you open it up, it makes this perfect little spot to set your cell phone. And I would use this to read books on my cell phone. So when I was thinking, how am I going to record these videos? If I turn my cell phone sideways, I can still have it plugged in, but this made a perfect little stand for me to use to record my videos. The improv part, that's where I got creative. Okay, I have this little stand. I have my cell phone in this little stand. how am I going to position it so that I can record with it? On my kitchen table, I have a vase. And on top of that vase, I put a picture frame upside down. And then I balanced this on top of it. And so the first 3 or 4 videos that I did, that's what I was using to record my videos. My little handy dandy improvisational stand made from a cassette cover. Low tech, old school improvisation. Last week when I was recording, I was sitting here in the living room and I couldn't figure out where to put my little cassette cover to have it stand to show the video the way I wanted it to. So I used my cross stitch stand. And it worked because I could position that the way I want. I could get the angle that I wanted. And that was great. But that's not going to work this week because this week I wanted to show you what was on the cross stitch stand. So then I'm back to how the heck am I going to get this little cassette holder to balance where I need it to be so that I can do a video this week. I caved. I went to Amazon. I bought a tripod mount for a cell phone. I got it the next day. And then I went and took one of Mark's tripods out of his office because he's got quite the camera collection too. And I feel like I'm growing up on floss tube. I have a tripod in front of me. I have my cell phone mounted in the stand and I just feel, wow. Yeah. I'm just slightly crazy too. So that's your getting to know your needleworker portion of this video. Now I'm going to show you some cross stitch. But first, a story. It seems to be that I have stories. So we got our first computer early 2000s. We were late to the game. And at that time when I was stitching, everything I got from Michael's or Joann's. So I decided one day to go online and see if I could find other places that would sell cross stitch. And I think I've told you this before, that I found a site called Mystic Stitch. And oh my gosh, I love what they have at Mystic Stitch. I think they're kind of precursors to the Hades. All the pieces there are full coverage. They're not as large as the Hades, but that's fine. I like what I saw there. And they have things separated by categories, so you can look for things that way, or over on the side they have the lists of all the artists that they have converted their artwork to cross-stitch patterns. And I saw that they had work from one of my favorite artists, Alphonse Mucha. I love his work. He just does the most beautiful ladies, and I just love his work. At this point in my cross-stitching, I was stitching pieces for other people. I had stitched 2 pieces that I had given away to friends based on things that they liked, and they knew that I was stitching them, so they appreciated them when they received it. I wanted to stitch something for my daughter, Erin. So she came over one day and I set her down on the computer and I said, go through this site, pick out a half a dozen pieces that you would like, and then I will choose which one of them I want to stitch. So she did. And when she gave me the list and I looked at it, I saw that one of the pieces she had chosen was an Alphonse Mucha. I didn't even bother to go look at the others. I knew that was the one that I was going to stitch. So in 2004, I stitched Alphonse Mucha's Morning Star for my daughter Erin. And I'm going to pause the video here so that I can go get that piece and show you. Hold on just a moment. This is Alphonse Mucha's Morning Star. I stitched her in 2004 and I finished her in 2005. Gave her to my daughter Erin for Christmas that year. The pieces at Mystic Stitch are all full coverage pieces. This was an 18-page pattern that 3 across, 6 down the sides, and I had never done a full coverage piece before, and the instructions said do page 1, do page 2, do page 3, so on, so on. Well, that's the way I stitched it, but when I got down to about page 5, I noticed that I could see the breaks between the pages in my stitching. And I don't know if that was normal, if it was me pulling my fabric too tight, but I really didn't like it. So starting about page 5, I started blending the edges of each page as I went down. So this is Alphonse Mucha's Morning Star. Hit pause again and I'll be right back. So a couple of years after I stitched Morning Star, I was looking through this catalog and I found a picture of a companion piece to this called Evening Star. And I wanted that piece. I just thought this would be perfect. My daughter would have Morning Star, I would have Evening Star. And I went everywhere I could think of on the internet, and I could not find that picture. So finally, after a couple of years, I went back to Mystic Stitch and decided that I needed to find another one for me to stitch. And I looked through all the things that they had there, and I finally came across this one called Evening Reverie, and this is the one that I decided to stitch for myself. So once again, I'm going to put you on pause and go get Evening Reverie. So this is Evening Reverie, and I fell in love with this pattern when I saw it. Again, I just love his work, his designs, the way the colors blend. Both these pieces have a lot of confetti in them, but they just make the colors look so realistic and wonderful, and I thoroughly enjoyed stitching her. But with her, when I started it, I started upper left-hand corner like I have with all my full coverage pieces. I decided that I was going to stitch all the way across the top first and then start working my way down, back and forth down the pattern. So I worked across multiple pages at a time, and that's pretty much what I've done ever since when I've done full coverage pieces. I don't do the half stitch across and then come back and cover it anymore, because when I did trio, and I showed you trio when I showed you all my Halloween pieces, I can see in there where I have pulled the fabric. And from that point forward, and with this one, each stitch is an individual stitch, and that seems to work for me. So let me put you on pause again. I'm back again. This is hard work, having to work with this tripod and move things around to record, and I'm learning. So if I'm kind of bouncy, and you'll just have to realize it's the low-tech part of me. Anyway, I stitched Evening Reverie in 2012. I had done Morning Star for Aaron in 2004. I did Evening Reverie for myself in 2012. And earlier this year, I decided I had to stitch another Alphonse Mucha. I love his work. So instead of going to Mystic Stitch this time, I decided that I would go about it a different way and see if I could find that elusive piece that I wanted, Evening Star. Every time I typed Evening Star, Alphonse Mucha, Cross Stitch Patterns, whatever way I put it in there, I couldn't find Evening Star. If it's out there, it's being elusive. So finally, I just typed in Alphonse Mucha, Cross Stitch Patterns, and then I looked at images, and going through the images, I found this one that I really, really liked. And I decided to go ahead and order it. It was not from Mystic Stitch. This time I got it from Cross Stitch Collectibles. And I'm going to show you the picture first. This is the moon. And I thought, oh, she's beautiful. They all are. Trying to pick which one I want to stitch. So I bought it and I started it in May of this year, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Anyway, I have been working on her, and again, I always start upper left-hand corner. I work across the top 3 pages, and then I start inching my way back and forth down the pattern. But before I show her to you, I have to tell you about something I discovered the other night that just kind of blew me away. I decided to go looking again for Evening Star. That elusive pattern that I wanted to have because I wanted Evening Star to my daughter's Morning Star. And I typed in Alphonse Mucha again into my search engine. And this time I found a page. I have to get my notebook here and read it to you. Alphonse Maria Mucha, The Complete Works. I thought, I'm going to find it. And sure enough, in there is a gallery with a lot of his artwork. I think there's almost 250 images in there of his artwork. And I am scrolling through the pages and I'm looking at all of this artwork and I see Morning Star. And okay, I'm going through and then I see Evening Reverie. But it's not titled Evening Reverie, it's titled Evening Contemplation. Okay, I get that. And then I see her. There is a piece titled Evening Star. I found her. I was just so excited. I found her. And I looked at it and I thought, wait a second, this can't be right. I got the moon, which is Evening Star. I didn't know that. I had her, and I didn't know that. So, all that time that I spent searching and searching for her, somewhere along the line, the title got changed from Evening Star to the moon. So let me put you on pause just one more time, or twice. Who knows? We'll see. Hold on. And here she is. This is how far I've gotten with her. I am currently working on pages 7, 8, and 9 down here at the bottom. And like I said, I don't do page by page. I work across the 3 pages. So the top you had 1, 2, and 3, then 4, 5, and 6. So I'm going to roll her up a little bit. This is what I do. I stitch all the way across and I work my way down so that there are no page breaks on my completed piece. Again, I would like to hear from anybody else. Have you noticed this when you do page by page? Is it just me? Was it just the tension that I used? I'm stitching her on 14 count Aida, which is one of the recommended fabrics. Each one of these pieces comes with, hold on, sorry about that. It says finished sizes approximate. 14 count Aida would be 11 inches by 28.5 inches. 18 count would be 8 by 5 by 22.25. Or 22 count would be 7 inches by 18.25. It's 155 stitches wide by 400 high. The nice thing about the pause button is you don't have to watch me get up and out of my chair and move around, because with my leg and my feet issues, it's not pretty. And it gives me a chance to somewhat catch my breath between getting up and moving around. Anyway, those are my 3 ladies that I have stitched on, my Alphonse Muchas. Every one of them has had about 90 different colors in them. Morning Star, I think, had 90 shades of beige. I didn't know that there was that many shades of beige. I mean, there were light brown and tan and cream, but 90 shades of beige. Evening Reverie had more colors in it. The Moon, or Evening Star as I now prefer to call her, she's going to be a dark piece. It's got a lot of 3371 in it. But again, the colors that are in there, even though there's a lot of confetti stitches, the way those colors blend together, they just become this wonderful muted background that is just really stunning to look at. And I'm just really, really excited to be working on another Alphonse Mucha. I don't know where I'm going to put her in my home because I don't have a lot of wall space. So I'll figure it out. I will figure it out. So those are my 3 pieces that I wanted to show you today. I wanted to share my love for Alphonse Mucha. I think that he is absolutely a fantastic artist, and if anybody else has done any, I would love to see pictures of that. I'd love to hear anything you have to say. So, thank you very much once again for watching my videos. I hope that I made a few of you giggle throughout this video, because I know I was giggling, but that doesn't mean anything. Thanks for your likes, your comments that you've left on my previous videos. I do enjoy reading those. Thank you for subscribing. And in 2 days, I get to meet the other stitchers up at Acorns and Threads. I am so excited about that. And I'm not sure what day I'm going to record next week because my work schedule is changing. And so I will see you when I see you, or you'll see me when you see me, because I don't see you. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you all have a great day. Live long, stitch on. Bye-bye.